Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genty Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
Well, welcome to the Beyond Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie Agenti. It's Tuesday, May the 21st, 2024, and this is episode number 99. Now, we're almost one episode away to 100. That's next week. So, basically, I want to start off. I wanted to talk about the Cowboys today, but I said, you know what? Let me leave that to the next week because their schedule came out last week. So I want to talk about their schedule next week. So we're going to talk about that next week. Now today, let's preview the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, so let's preview the Eastern Conference first, since today is the game one of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Pacers and the Celtics. Now, this matchup I found really interesting. Twice the Pacers scored 140 plus points against the Celtics. Now, they beat the Celtics twice, but Boston got the better of them. And we all know that Indiana can score. Indiana has averaged 122 points a game. However, they give 122 points on defense throughout the regular season. So, in order for the Pacers to win these series, they got to play a little bit of defense, which we saw in Game 3, Game 4, Game 6, and Game 7 of the Knicks series. You saw Aaron Naismith defend his ass off against Jalen Brunson. Now, Jalen Brunson is probably going to be all NBA first team. Should be able to get the nod. Should be able to get that. You're telling me that TJ McCollum and Aaron Naismith, and you could even add Andrew Nembhard on that to run around with Jalen Brunson throughout the whole entire court. And it was a tough 30 points that he got. But just imagine having to do that all regular season long. Just imagine if there was another 7-game series with the Knicks and the Pacers, having to run around with Jalen Brunson, forcing him to take awkward shots, being physical with him. It was a tough cover, but they did it. And they did it as a team. And so this Pacers team, let me tell you about this matchup against the Celtics. They got to fight. Rick Carlisle has been in this situation before with the Mavericks, and you can say in the Indiana Pacers in the past. And he's done an excellent job and putting fight in these players. And the players have responded. Tyrese Halliburton, I thought he was a joke after game one of the Knicks series, but game 2 on, he always backed up his talk. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he always backed up what he said and what he was going to do. And what he did is what he did. And so, to me, the fight has got to be the message. You got to have these guys ready. So, guys like Andrew Nembhard, guys like Tyrese Halliburton, guys like Obi Toppin, who comes off the bench, guys like that have to be ready. Isaiah Jackson, who plays small ball defense, can guard any player on the court from 1 to 5. Came in and did an excellent job in the Knicks series. I was crucial of what role he was going to play, but the Pacers seem like they found what role he plays the best in. Is the best in the 4 to 5 spot. whenever Miles Turner needs a break, Isaiah Jackson comes in and provides a spark. So you need guys like that to be ready. Because I know Boston doesn't have KP, even though everybody says you need KP. I don't think you do. I could be the only person in America that says you don't need KP in this series. You did it without him in the Miami and the Cleveland series. You got through that. Why? We don't trust Al Horford? You don't trust Luke Cornett or Xavier Tillman? Xavier Tillman is a physical guy. Luke Cornett is not. Luke Cornett has height, size, whatever you want to say, whatever the saying is. I believe Boston will use Luke Cornett more than Xavier Tillman. Now, if the game is physical, if the players just play physically like they done after game one, then maybe Xavier could come in and provide that physical spark. But anyways, Halliburton, like I told you, Halliburton has to keep moving with the ball. Halliburton has done an excellent job getting ready for this moment. And I want you to hear a clip from Tyrese Halliburton. This is the press conference that he did after Game 7. And let's look at the body language of what he has done and what he has said or what he has done to get this going. Let's play a clip, please.
When this season started, I can't remember exactly, but you guys were projected maybe like, lower playoff seed, maybe even playing, whatever. When did you guys start to believe that this had the potential to be something bigger? And obviously, Pascal and Nashville. Big piece of that, but when did you start to feel like there was much more potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us as a group, obviously Pete wasn't here to start the year, but we knew our expectation was to get to the playoffs. We said that to our local media members all year. I mean, I know a lot of you guys didn't hear anything from us because it's not like we're covered early in the year, but, I think that we just had that. Like we had preseason camp in Nashville, just players, no coaches, and that was what we communicated from the jump, that we expected to be here. This ain't a surprise for us. It's no fluke. We expect this from our group, and then once we added P, we knew that we could really take off. So it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks, except for the people in our travel party, 70, 80 people who come. Because I don't think anybody here picked the Pacers to win the series, but it happened.
I have picture proof.
Yeah.
Miles,
Excuse me, Angela, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I said that. That was crazy.
Sorry.
That was
thirsty.
Nah, bro.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was trying to be subtle.
Yeah.
That was not subtle.
It was not at all.
That was not subtle.
What?
I'm sorry, did you guys see that? No, I didn't see it.
Tyrese Halliburton on fans of the NBA not giving his team a chance in this series and the other series as well. Now, by the way, Prime is not sponsored by the NBA. Gatorade for the longest time, maybe Powerade as well, has been sponsored by the NBA. However, Prime is not a bad drink. I tasted Prime numerous times. It's not a bad drink at all. I just wish the NBA sponsored that as well. So, anyways, that's the model of their team. They're a bunch of fighters. They have complete confidence in each other. Siakam and Turner will be key in this series. Now, Siakam is the only player on that roster that's gone to the Eastern Conference Finals. He knows this. He knows the preparation of it. And he will pump his teammates to get ready. Miles Turner is a longtime Pacers player, even though for years he's been subject to trade rumors, even to the Mavericks. Like, there was years ago that Miles Turner, even though he's from here. And I saw him play in 2013 in high school at Trinity. He's here. He's here. I don't know if he lives here or not, but he grew up here. But there was a time that he was going to be traded to the Mavericks. Even though the Mavericks at the time were looking for a center, they found two of them now. So, anyways, Miles Turner will be big in this series. Again, the Celtics don't need KP in this series. I'm going to say that one more time before I get to my Celtics scouting report. But Miles Turner can dominate. This is the best that Miles Turner has ever been at. So, with that being said, I'm not getting anything past Miles or Pascal. Play defense in game one. You didn't play defense in game one, which is why you lost game one. You had the lead against the Knicks. You lost that in game one. So you got to play defense, but also you got to finish, because this series should have been over in 6 games, but you didn't finish game one. So to me, I had the Knicks in 6, but I was completely wrong. I had the Pacers are a good team, but the Achilles heel is the defense. You got to, like I said, Naismith and Neymar have to defend Jalen Brunson and Jason Tatum collectively. And T.J. McCollum, you can add T.J. McCollum to that spot as well. T.J. McCollum will guard Jaylen Brown when the Celtics go with their second group. So it could either be Tatum or Jaylen Brown who runs the second group. And T.J. McCollum can guard. I mean, maybe he can guard Derek White. You know, Derek White hasn't had a great series since the Miami series. So if Derek White gets off in this series, maybe McCollum will be on it, and Aaron Naismith will go and defend Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, or probably both of them. And then you leave Aaron Naismith to defend Jason Tatum. I never seen that matchup before, even though it was the regular season, but I want to see it, how that unfolds today. How does Aaron Naismith go at Jason Tatum? How does he defend him now? Now that Jason Tatum needs to step up, needs to come through, and stop watching. You got to match the Celtics injury. The Celtics have been resting since last Wednesday, and so you got to match their injury from the jump. What are they going to do between last Wednesday and tonight? You got to match it wholeheartedly. You got to communicate on defense. So I know every game was in the hundreds. You got to play. You got to communicate on defense. You got to, and then you got to stay out of foul trouble. I know that was a physical series, but Aaron Naismith, you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about Aaron Naismith or Angel Nembhard. It's more Nembhard than Naismith, because Nembhard loves to get into you. He loves to get into you and create those fouls for himself. It hurts the Pacers' depth a little bit, because you're asking McCollum to come in early and even though McCollum can pick up the slack on defense. I'm not talking about his offensive game. His offensive game is in the paint. Everybody knows that. But the depth wears thin if both McCollum and Naismith pick up 2 fouls each. And so we have to be mindful of that. And also the officiating. I don't know. The officiating in the playoffs has been a little suspect at times. And so to me, it depends. Are you going to go with Josh Tibbin, who is the mellow official, or are you going to go with Tony Brothers, who is direct, hard ass? It doesn't give a care about you, but he wants to be the star of the show. And so we'll see what happens. That's my Pacers matchup. So I gave you the keys of how the Pacers are going to beat the Celtics, but also let's talk about the Boston Celtics, because this man here says, we're going to face the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Okay, hold on. Let's calm down. Let's calm down a little bit. Let me give you the Celtics scouting report. So, rest. Like I said, they've been resting since last Wednesday when they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brown and Tatum, especially Tatum, has to come through. Tatum has been watching Jaylen Brown and Derek White go off. It was Derek White in the Miami series, and it was Jaylen Brown in the Cleveland series. So where's Jason Tatum are we going to see? Are we going to see the one that went for 33 points in Game 4? Or are we going to see the one that if he can go for 25 points and lose, but everybody will criticize him at the end of the day? And I'm telling Jason Tatum, you don't have to watch Derek White or Jaylen Brown to score. I know they're going to take the ball out of your hands, but please be aggressive and not look for calls. He picked up 2 technical fouls. To me, it pissed me off because you are the main guy they're going after. You are the guy that says, you know what? They're coming after me. I got to make adjustments. So to me, you got to put your big boy pants on and attack. Stop looking for fouls. Stop begging the officials to give you a tech because it hurts your team. I want Jason Tatum to understand that you are the best player in the NBA. You are. Show it. Get through this series because I know this series will not be easy. It will not be easy at all. Stop being passive. That goes with Joe Mazzulla. I seen a different approach from Joe Mazzulla this season. So Joe Mazzulla, when he started coaching last season, I thought, okay, maybe I can give him a little bit of a pass because he doesn't know how to coach yet. I know he got thrown into the fire early. Okay, now you know you got something under your belt. Now you know how to coach and everything. Now it's time for you to put it all together. Now it's time to say, you know what? I'm ready to put this product together. I'm ready to go after it. Whatever coaching adjustments, whatever I got to do to make this team great, I'm ready to do it. And I'm right there with him. You got to call the right plays as well, Coach Mazzulla. You got to call the right plays, even though I trust you. White must step up. Derek White has to step up. Drew Holiday has to step up. Even Peyton Pritchard has to step up off the bench. The Celtics bench has to come through. They got to be better than the Pacers bench because the Pacers only have Obi Toppin and TJ McCollum that comes off the bench and provides. That's the only two that come off the bench and provide. Now you can add Isaiah Jackson in that, but it doesn't match what the Celtics have off the bench. I'm talking about. Like I said, you don't need KP in this series. Can I say this again? You don't need Kristaps Porzingis in this series. You don't need him. You can get through it. You have Al Horford. You have Luke Cornett. If you're talking about rim protection, because the Pacers don't drive. They don't, well, actually they do, but it's not a lot. So if you were to ask me to pick this series, if I were to say, given all the matchups that I've seen over the last few weeks, I watched this game. I say, you know what? I could easily give it to the Pacers. Some idiot that I saw online, I can't remember who it was, chose the Pacers. Oh, maybe it was a former NBA player. Maybe Rashawn McCants. I'm calling him out because you chose the Pacers to win. And I'm like, you may have a point, but I'm not betting on the Pacers to win this series. As much as I like their run right now, as much as I like the fact that Caitlin Clark shows up to a playoff game while her fever is resting, And she's the main attraction at the games versus the game itself. Y'all care about Caitlin Clark in Indy than your Pacers. Wow. One player over a whole entire team. Your Pacers could go to the NBA Finals. This team was supposed to be rebuilding for years. But to get to this point early, that tells me a lot. It tells me that the rebuild is almost over. You did this in a short amount of time. Teams rebuild for years and years and years. They can't get it right. Ask the Charlotte Hornets. But they got it right. The Celtics have been in this situation. The Eastern Conference Finals. We're getting tired of the Celtics not coming through. This is where they crumble. When they get to this point, this is where they crumble. And no, it's not going to give the Mavericks a chance in the finals. Calm down. So, the Celtics crumble. However, the Pacers have their rebuilding cycle is almost over. So, with that being said, I'm choosing the Celtics in 6. I feel like the Celtics can go in there. They may, I'm going to say this, they will go up 2-0, okay? They go to the Pacers, depending on how the game shifts, right? It depends on momentum. The Pacers and their fans will get rowdy, loud, all the things. And then rally their team to win. But it's not enough. So to me, I got the Celtics in 6. The Celtics are a better road team than all these other teams in the playoffs that have gone to Indy and have laid an egg in Indy because of the noise. I think the Indiana Pacers are undefeated out at home. So they have their hats hung on that. So, but I feel like the Celtics can go in there and win games on the road in the playoffs. And so to me, I'm choosing the Celtics in 6. It's not going to be easy. We're not overlooking the Pacers. But the Celtics, it depends which Jason Tatum is going to show up. I'm not looking for Jason Tatum to go for 30 every game. Jaylen Brown, depends. Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, we know what we're going to get from 37 years old. It just depends on the other guys. So I want to write this down before I get to this Mavericks thing. Celtics in 6. All right, so that's my take. Dallas Mavericks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Many have said, how are we going to beat the Timberwolves? Those Mavs fans says we could beat the Timberwolves. Oh, really? You can? And you just became a fan 2 months ago? So you're telling me that a team in Minnesota that has given up 100 points a game in the regular season, a team that everybody has compared Anthony Edwards to MJ, Rudy Gobert is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Karl Anthony Towns is playing at his peak. Their coach is injured, but yet Michael Nori has kept his team together with his play calling. Look at Michael Nori's clips on Facebook. Not on Facebook. On YouTube. Look how he's going to guard Luka. Let me shout out Angela real quick. Michael Nori knows how to defend Luka. Go look at his clips on how to defend Luka. I can't remember, but I know how to defend Luka. All you got to do is make him physical. Make him go to his left. He hates going left. He don't want to go left. Even though you could call him Luka Magic, he call him what he wants. But Micah Nori knows how to guard Luka, and he has a name for him. So with this matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Dallas Mavericks 3-1 in the season series. But that was their last series was played in the last week in December. So they played all 4 games between November and December. So they haven't played each other in almost 6 months. And so that was without Gafford and Gafford and Washington on the team. Washington was in Charlotte and Gafford was in Washington at the time. So now things have changed. And let me give you some Mavericks takes and how you're going to beat the Timberwolves. Hopefully he's listening. Edwards averaged 22 points a game. Okay, so he'll be double teamed, or he may be guarded by Josh Green, Derek Jones Jr., Dante Exum whenever he gets the game, P.J. Washington for sure, because P.J. Washington has the height and the long arms to guard Anthony Edwards. And possibly Kyrie Irving. But I don't think Kyrie Irving will guard Anthony Edwards unless he wants to. Kyrie Irving will guard Mike Conley. So that's not a joke as well. So P.J. Washington or Derek Jones Jr. will take turns guarding Anthony Edwards. And they will force him to jump shoot all the time because Anthony Edwards hates shooting jump shots. He doesn't want to continue to shoot jump shots. He wants to drive. He wants to get to the lane. He wants to dunk over you. That's what Anthony Edwards wants to do. And that's why because Anthony Edwards has a complete game. And maybe Josh Green as well. You can add Josh Green as well. But I worry about the fouls the Mavericks are going to pick up in the perimeter. You know, speaking of, Anthony Edwards loves to go to the basket, but you got to have shot blocking down there. And that's where Gafford and Lively come in. You got to have shot blocking down there or else it doesn't work. You can't put Gafford and Lively in the game at the same time. It won't work. It may work for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but it won't work. But also, I just found out something. I found out that Washington has to guard Karl-Anthony Towns because you don't have Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber's out. That's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt your depth. If you're talking about Washington trying to guard Lively, not Washington trying to guard Lively, Washington trying to guard Edwards, that's not going to be the case because Maxi Kleber's out. And you got to guard Karl-Anthony Towns as well, even though it may be a mismatch. But P.J. Washington can hold his own. P.J. Washington can hold his own against Karl-Anthony Towns. Yes, I said it. P.J. Washington could hold his own against Karl-Anthony Towns. So, with that being said, Derek Jones Jr., Dante Exum will have to guard, and Josh Green will have to guard Anthony Edwards. You got to be physical. Mavericks, you got to be physical. You can't have this finesse stuff. The Thunder, they taught you something. They taught you that you're going to take this hit. Lou Dort, that was guarding Luka all the series long, even though Lou Dort did a horrible job defending Luka. Well, actually, he didn't. He did a decent job. He picked up a lot of fouls. But Luka has experience being heavily guarded. You can't look at the officials and looking for a call every single time down the court. I thought Luka has learned his lesson after one game. He picked up a tech in game 6, and I'm like, this has to stop. This has to stop. So you got to be physical. And Doncic will get his points. He will get his 30 points, even though he's hurt. Angelo, this man needs a full week of rest. You can't give him 3 days and say, you know what, we're going to go back again. He has a knee injury, he has an Achilles injury, and also an ankle injury. He has all 3. He needs his rest. 3 days won't help it. He's getting around the clock from the time he gets off the court till now. Well, actually, till game time on Wednesday. So, with that being said, Doncic will still go for 30, but he's still hurt. A third scorer, again, is needed. Tim Hardaway Jr., where are you at? You're needed again. Josh Green, you're needed again. PJ Washington, we already know what we're going to expect from him. But I feel like the Timberwolves will shut PJ Washington down. They had the movement to shut everything off. You realize that the Nuggets did not score 100 points in that series. You realize that even though the Nuggets won games was 90 points, they didn't score 100 at all. Wow. That's defense. That is defense right there. And so, with that being said, absolute shit show in Game 7. That's how you do it. Was the Mavericks love to score. And the Mavericks have to figure out ways to score. Because this defense is coming. And their score is needed. Make the Timberwolves work. Lively and Gafford must stay out of foul trouble. They got to stay out of foul trouble. They got to stay out of foul trouble because you're limited of what you have. You don't have Magic Cleveland, like I said. And I don't think you will ever have him in this series. I could be wrong, but you don't have him in this series. That's number one. You got it. Gafford and Lively have to be smart with their fouls because you don't have another big man off the bench. Well, actually, you do. You have Marcus Morris. Markieff Morris. I think it's either Marcus or Markieff. You have Markieff. You got to remember, you have Markieff that's undersized, but he can play big down low. If he's needed in this series, again, then they'll go to him again. But he may not be needed in this series. But also, he can provide you offense as well. So Markieff Morris, not only defense, but he can provide you offense as well. So with that being said, Gafford and Lively have to stay out of foul trouble to give the Mavericks a chance to win in this series. And the bench has to be great. Everybody from Dante to Josh Green to Lively, Tim Hardaway Jr. has to be great. Jaden Hardy, Jaden Hardy has to be great. Has to be. Whenever Jaden Hardy was the difference maker in Game 5, even though he played only 10 minutes and scored, I think he scored 5 points. He was a difference maker. You had to match the Thunder's youthfulness with Jaden Hardy's willingness to win. It's a great match. But when I end this, let's hear from Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has some inspiring messages. So let's hear from Kyrie Irving, please. Angelo, Kyrie Irving. Angelo. But anyways, so Kyrie Irving, please.
You know, just that whole walk-off, hugging my family and then going and hugging some more of my family in the locker room. Everybody cheering for each other, and I had to make an impromptu speech, and I was doing my best not to let some tears come down from my eyes because it feels like it's been a long time coming, just being back in this position, getting back to the, finals or the conference finals. It's just a long way back, and
whatever happened in Brooklyn stays in Brooklyn. Okay? But go to the Mavericks and ball out like he's done. Play all the games that he's played in. And become an emotional leader. He has my ultimate respect. And yes, I was the one that called Kyrie Irving. I was one of those guys. to be honest with you. But I don't judge a man's past. The man went through it. It's in Brooklyn. It stays in Brooklyn. You go to the Mavericks. You don't play your first season, but in your second season, you're in the NBA. You're 4 games away from getting to the NBA Finals and possibly winning a championship. So Kyrie Irving is that guy for me, and I hope Kyrie Irving signs long term, along with Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. has been an afterthought. Every team he's gone to, he's been good enough on their team. He's a winner. Derrick Jones Jr. is a winner. I hope the Mavericks have a chance to re-sign him this summer, because I know he's going to get a lot of money, but from elsewhere. So I hope the Mavericks are first in line when it comes to keeping Derrick Jones Jr. and also Kyrie Irving too. So let's get to the Minnesota Timberwolves matchup. But first, let's hear from Anthony Edwards, please.
He made all the right plays tonight. Like once again, he only took 14 shots. He's always super efficient from the field. And he carried us tonight. Every time we needed a bucket, he was there for us. We gave it to him in the post multiple times. He made the right play multiple times, over and over again. And we get on him about crashing from the top, but today he crashed from the top for a big bucket that we needed. So big shout out, for sure. He put us on his back tonight.
They hate when it don't work, and they love when
they
it
love
works.
when it works. That's how I go.
So that's Minnesota for you. That's Karl-Anthony Towns. You got to defend him in this series. And so Luka averaged 37 points a game in this series. Do I think Luka gets 37? No, he doesn't get 37 in this series. Sorry. You need 37 to win. He doesn't get 37 in this series. It's going to be hard for him to get to 30. McDaniels must have foul check. This is Jaden McDaniels, the guy that's going to heavily defend Luka all around the court and possibly defend Kyrie Irving as well. So Jaden McDaniel is going to be the main guy that's going to defend Jaden Hardy. Now, if you talk about Lou Dort being the best perimeter defender in the game, look at Jaden McDaniel. Jaden McDaniel had to go against Devin Booker and Jamal Murray. More Devin Booker than Jamal Murray. Even though those guys are completely different, Luka is different as well. Luka is a finesse player, but Jaden McDaniel can get into his head and force him to get out of his elements. And you don't need Luka to get out of his elements. You need Luka to be completely in. And so, but Jalen McDaniels can score as well. So he had 23 points in Game 7. So if you're worried about Jalen McDaniels' defense on Luka, worry about his offensive scoring as well. The Timberwolves have an all-around game. Anybody can score. Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniel, Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards. Their whole starting five, including 2 guys off the bench, can score 20+. You know this. And if you don't know this now, you know it now. So you got to force Kyrie to his left. Kyrie does not love going left. You got to get Towns on the moves. When Towns posts up, it's dangerous down there. So I do think that what would work with Minnesota is getting more post touches for Karl-Anthony Towns. So when Karl-Anthony Towns gets a post touch against P.J. Washington or Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford, he's going to dominate. They will not get that for Rudy Gobert because they tell Rudy Gobert, defend the rim and grab offensive rebounds so we can have a second possession. So that's how you got to box out that guy. I'm sorry, you got to do your work, Mavericks fans. You got to do your work, Mavericks players. This Minnesota Timberwolves team is legitimately good and on their way to the NBA Finals, even better than the 2004 Minnesota Timberwolves, which I saw that series against the Lakers. So you got to get get Cat on the move, but also Gobert's going to defend, going to grab the offensive rebounds and defend the rim. This is Anthony Edwards' NBA moment. So everybody's been comparing him to MJ. He's not MJ yet, but this could be his moment to become legitimately good. Anthony Edwards is that type of dog. The dog mentality that says, I want to play every game. I want to make an impact on the court. I want to go at everybody's throats. 20, 30, 40, 50 points. That's what he wants to go after every single game. He doesn't care about who's defending him. He knows the game of basketball itself. And let's hear from Anthony Edwards, please. Another clip.
Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns. Carl Anthony Towns. It's because of him. Thank Cat, y'all. Thank Cat, y'all. They ain't have no answer for Carl. Carl, the baddest big on the planet. Y'all know it. It ain't hard to see it. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. The Timberwolves will be there.
So you can celebrate all you want, but Carl Anthony Towns is that dude, like Anthony Edwards said. And also, here's another thing. Nas Reed. Nas Reed won six man of the year. Nas Reed can defend his best against Jokic. Even though Jokic went for 34 points, he can defend his best against Jokic. But that's another guy you gotta guard. You gotta guard Nas Reed. So the Mavericks are in shambles right now. You gotta guard the starting 5, Nas Reed, and possibly whoever comes off the bench. Monte Morris, Luka Gaza, TJ Warren, whoever. Minnesota's loaded. And so with that being said, Nas Reed can't be defended. Nas Reed is a hustle guy. And then Michael Nori, this is his moment. And I know the Lakers fan in Gabe, who, by the way, I don't know if he still works here or not. You could tell him that Michael Nori should be your head coach. This is his moment as well. Michael Nori can coach his ass off. He can coach. Chris Finch is in crutches. Chris Finch will be on the bench. But Michael Nori is coaching to become the Lakers head coach, along with Sam Cassell. Enough of this J.J. Redick talk. J.J. Redick shouldn't even be considered. J.J. Redick has a basketball mind for ages. But his coaching, his inexperience of coaching will not work in today's NBA. In today's NBA, you need X's and O's. Today's NBA, you need a little bit of discipline. And so with that being said, you gotta have guys that will take accountability. You gotta have a coach that leans on guys say you gotta take accountability, guys. You gotta know your personnel. Sam Cassell knows the game. Sam Cassell is a former assistant. Well, not the former assistant. He's a former assistant at the 76ers and now the assistant of the Boston Celtics. And I believe he's the reason why the Celtics are in this position again. He should be considered along with Michael Nori. Michael Nori knows the X's and O's of how the Timberwolves play defense. So I do think Michael Nori and Sam Cassell should be the top 2 candidates for the Lakers head coaching job. And I wouldn't be mad was either or. Sam Cassell, fine. Michael Nori will be my first choice. No racial bias here, but Michael Nori would be my first choice if I'm a Lakers fan. Because y'all haven't had any success in the last 6 seasons. Well, the last 4 seasons. So with that being said, if you want to be successful, you want a guy that wants to win, go after those two instead of J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick is just there for amusement, for attraction. We don't need that. You gotta watch for the matureness. Well, actually, everybody's mature in this series, and so What the series will come down to is who scores 100 points first. The Timberwolves know how to score 100 points. They got the whole starting 6 actually started 8 scoring 100 points. They know their personnel. You can beat their personnel, Mavericks fans. However, it's going to be tough. Look at them on paper. They're tough. Look at them on the court, they're tough. They have to rally from a 20-point deficit against the Nuggets. And so, when I was watching the game, I was watching the Nuggets and Timberwolves game. I said, okay, it's over. The Nuggets got it. Even when you go against Denver, you still got to guard Jokic. Yeah, you still got to guard Jokic. You got to guard their whole starting 6, Angelo. This series wasn't going to be easy itself, so you still have to guard them. So I went to sleep. I passed out. I said, okay, the Nuggets series, they're going to the the West Conference Finals. I wake up an hour later. I see that the Timberwolves are up by 8, and I'm like, what? This was a 20-point game. And I thought I was watching a repeat of Game 5, but no, it was live. And so I'm like, how did the Timberwolves come back for a 20-point game and even held them to 90 points total? This team had 50 points at the half. 58 points with not under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. You're telling me the Timberwolves came all the way back for 20 points down to beat the hell out of them 98-90 in Game 7. Wow. It's a long off season for the Denver Nuggets. We're about to talk about that in a second. So, if you ask me, the Mavericks on paper, they look good. They look good on the court, but they don't have enough to beat the Timberwolves. They made a lot of moves, great moves, but this is going to come down to the Mavericks willingness to score. If the Mavericks can score, then we're talking about a different series. We're talking about a series that can go 7. I don't think it'll go 7. Even though the man in this building says it will go 7, it won't. I don't think it will. Because you got to guard Anthony Edwards all 7 games. That's going to be that's tougher than guarding MJ all 82 games of the regular season. That's tough. So it's not, no one has ever done it. Axe Phoenix. Axe the Nuggets. The Nuggets tried. They couldn't do it. Even though Anthony Edwards went 6 for 24, they did their job. But Karl-Anthony Towns and Jaden McDaniels came through. And Rudy Gobert as well. And so Anthony Edwards is not going to shoot 6 for 24 again. The Mavericks are not going to beat lesser teams again in the Thunder. You're not going to do that. Jason Kidd has to coach his ass off. Minnesota has all the intangibles. You can't beat them from top to bottom. The Minnesota Timberwolves can guard you for days. The movement on defense, the communication on defense is key. Everybody has a job. Everybody does their job to the utmost perfection. So, if you were to ask me, we already got one man's prediction. We already got Kendrick Perkins' prediction. We already got Stephen A., Shannon Sharp. Everybody that follows the NBA, their predictions as well. Some have chosen the Mavericks. Some have chosen the Timberwolves. For me, I'm choosing the Timberwolves in 6. Yeah, you heard that right. Timberwolves in 6. Even though I would say the Timberwolves in 5, but I feel like I have to give the Mavericks 2 games. And those 2 games will be at home. Because you're not going to Minnesota and beating Minnesota twice at home against that crowd. So that means when it comes to Game 3 and Game 4, we got to be louder than Minnesota's crowd. So with that being said, I'm giving it to the Timberwolves in 6. You're going to hate me after this show, but I'm going to be right this time. I know I got the Timberwolves and not Timberwolves. I know I got the Thunder series wrong. I didn't get that Clippers series wrong, but I got the Thunder series wrong. I'm gonna get this one right because I am right. Timberwolves is 6, and so that's it for my series. So hopefully, Game 1 starts tomorrow night. Are you watching? We'll see what happens. Now, let's talk about these 3 teams that need they need everything. They need help. Mike Malone, the Nuggets head coach, I called him an ass last night because he is. And going after the reporter after y'all blew a 20-point lead, you're responsible for that along with the players. You blew a 20-point lead in that series in Game 7. Who does that? Who blows 20-point leads in Game 7? Who does that? And then you criticize the reporter on his stupid-ass question. I'm like, it's a great question. But you blew a 20-point lead, and now your weakness is to go after a reporter. That is the weakest move I ever seen. Instead of being upset at your players for blowing that lead and at yourself as well, because you have to take full accountability for everything that goes on the court. It's tough to repeat. It's tough to have a repeat championship in the NBA because you never know what the momentum is going to be built on. Everybody says, I hate bringing up LeBron, but I have to. Everybody says that LeBron has to win a championship to submit his GOAT status. Now, everybody in America has said MJ. MJ has done it because MJ can go back-to-back. LeBron, he's done it a couple of times, but it's the new NBA. You got the Thunder, you got Denver, you got Minnesota, you probably may got Dallas that are coming through to say, you know what, we're going to take over this throne. The days of having a great team is over. You got to go with what you have. And if what you have does not work, you're not going to trade those guys unless they walk away and go to another team, unless they ask for a trade. Or better yet, if they're free agents, they can walk away for nothing and get a better contract on another team and ball out on their another team. But again, it takes work. So you got to be able to work. And the Nuggets, they worked this series, but yet it's like you had the Jamal Murray incident in Game 2. You had Jokic just being business-minded as usual. They couldn't defend him, scoring 30 points, doing the best he can. Michael Porter Jr. was dealing with something. He wasn't injured, but the mindset. Every game that he got to go through is something with a family member of his. Whether it's like we reported, I think 2 to 3 weeks ago, we reported that Michael Porter, his brother, got banned from the NBA. So that takes a toll. And also, his other brother, is going to prison for 6 years because he killed a person while, DUI, you killed a person. And that's not worth 6 years. I'm sorry. The justice system has failed. But anyway, that's a different podcast for a different day. The justice system failed in that. So, and that's that. I don't know anything else. That's that. And so to me, you have to be able to manage all that. And Mike Malone did a great job in the regular season, but also in the playoffs. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to take blame. I'm sorry. And everyone can say, we beat the Lakers. That karma is not karma. I believe in karma, but I don't think that what he said in the parade last season translates to this. I don't think it does. I just think they got beat by the better team. That's it. The Knicks are right there. Julius Randle was hurt. OG Anunoby was hurt. Josh Hart was hurt. Mitchell Robinson was hurt in the Philly series. He finally came through. He finally sat out. I didn't know Mitch Robinson. Mitchell Robinson had ankle issues. It only took a matter of time that those ankles just flared up. He played through them, Knicks fans. You can't criticize a man's effort. You can't criticize it. Jalen Brunson had a left hand injury. The emotions in that. So you can't criticize these guys' efforts. These guys wanted to be on the court to win. They wanted to be on the court to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and possibly win a championship. They want to be there. They want to play basketball. It's a rarity in society today because society says, hey, take a break. Oh, hey, you don't have to work this hard. Or you see guys like Paul George and James Harden take a break in the playoffs. You see those two guys not care about the game anymore. Listen, care what you care about. But don't waste your time trying to go for a championship, even though you would not show up in the first round. James Harden did not show up in the first round. For one game, he had 33 points. Paul George, for one game, he had 33 points. And what happened? A loss. And now the expectation says we got to win a championship. Why? Do you realize it takes hurdles? It takes hurdles to get there. But anyways, my case in point is these Knicks players care. They care from top to bottom. Maybe you can say Julius Randle did not care. But I don't. That's the only player on the team that does not care. Well, actually, he does. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. He does care. He just wasn't. It just wasn't enough for him to get on the court. So we need guys like that. And Tibbs running them to the ground. No, I don't think. I don't believe in that. Tibbs is a great head coach. He has a history in this game. I just feel like, for me, Tibbs is the type of coach that we all want in the game of basketball. We all want that type of guy that cares about practice, that gets the players better. And the Knicks will be better. They don't need no big free agent. Look what Dante DiVincenzo gave you. Look what Josh Hart gave you. Josh Hart gave you 81 games plus more. He didn't sit out any games. He didn't sit out any games. 81 games plus what? 12 games? 13 games? That's almost 100 games he played in. Wow. He gave you all that plus more. It's just unfortunate that an ab injury happened. Everybody's playing through the stuff. It's not a lot of people that won't give you enough effort these days, and that goes in life as well. The Thunder, my last team. I thought the Thunder would win this series. They made a fool out of me. People have said, including Kendrick Perkins, have said you need rim protection. It's a rarity to find a big man in this series. I'm sorry, in this days. Now, if the Thunder are saying we're going to go after Zach Edey as our 12th pick, then it will make sense. But if Zach Edey is taken before that, you don't need that rim protection. Are you going to keep him under? He can score. Zach Edey can score as well. He's 7'4". He can score as well. So that's another scoring target that the Thunder can add to their team. Because Chet is not enough. Chet is going to be a good player, but look at the side. Look at the arms of Chet Holmgren. It's not Shaq or Charles Oakley arms. It's more of I'm allergic to the weight room. We have weaker guys in the NBA. Rudy Gobert, even though he's strong as it can be. We don't have those guys anymore, even though every resource is open to everyone. Everyone. You gotta stay committed. And Chet Holmgren is not committed to the weight room. Chet Holmgren is committed to playing basketball, which is not a bad thing. But if you gotta go against both Gafford and Lively, you got to be able to put the hammer down. You got to be able to put the hammer down because they brought in Jaden Williams, Arkansas Jaden Williams. They had to bring him in to defend both Lively and Gafford because he is stronger than Chet Holmgren. That's why Mark Daigel went with that. He went with that matchup instead of going smaller and smaller and smaller. He could have gone with Kendrick Williams. He did in some spurts, but it wasn't working out because of the height difference that the Mavericks were posing in. And so, with that being said, was a Thunder outlook. They got a good team. You don't need rim protection because there's nothing there. Unless you're going to go after Zach Edey. Unless. But I don't think you're going to go after him. I think somebody else will. But you got Lou Dort. You got Shea Gilgeous. You got to provide more scoring. You need Jaden Williams, Santa Clara Jaden Williams, to score a lot, to be that second guy. Every team's looking for that second guy to score the basketball when the other guy is not playing well. Jason Tatum is that first guy. Jaden Brown is the second guy in Boston. Luka's the first guy. Kyrie's the second guy. If you're talking about my Spurs, Victor's the only guy. We can't find other guys. You can say Devin Vassell. You can say Keldon Johnson. You can say Trey Jones. None of those guys are going to score 20 points a game on any given night. So the Thunder, as much as I love them, as much as I love their regular season success, 57 games doesn't mean that you're going to the NBA Finals. It just means that you won 57 games in the regular season. And they're right there. They are right there, man. You need to, you need pieces, but at the same time, you don't need much. And also, I saw a comment that somebody else, we need Kevin Durant back. I'm like, why? Kevin Durant has long gone. That's like going back to an ex. If I were to say, hey, I won't go back to my ex, it's going to be different this time. I would never do that. I would never go backwards in life. I'm not going back to that ex. Kevin Durant does not want that either. Kevin Durant says, I want to stay in Phoenix. Or he'll make his decision for him. He wants to win. And OKC has a winning product with what they have. But it's easy for people to say, oh, we need Kevin Durant. It's easy because Kevin Durant can score, can give you 30 points a night still. But it's easy enough. But it takes a lot. Can he play defense? Can he be a team guy? It's a lot of things that plays a factor in. And the Thunder have that. You have the coach of the year, Mark Daigel, which, again, it's not my choice. I would have gone with Chris Finch. Mark Daigel is the coach of the year. Mark Daigel has done some great things. This is why he's going to continue to build. Because you're right there. Add a few pieces. Let's see what happens. All right, so that's my NBA takes of the day. I may have more NBA takes next week. So we're going to recap the game threes, the first three games. And also, we're going to, and also, any other NBA news we'll talk about that. But coming up next, we're not done yet. Coming up next, let's talk about the WNBA. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's first week, or these rookies' first week. Let's talk about the nonsensical cover she's getting right now. And also, let's talk about this Aces investigation, which is annoying to me. And also, we have the games of the week. The games of the week we have as well. So let's talk about that on the other side. It's Beyond the Game with Jamie and Genty on Fishbowl Radio.
in a Benz, I like you, I do. I hit you in a land, can you fit me in your plans? I like you, I do. We went up better friends and we woke up in Japan, I like you, I do. Oh girl, I know you only like it fancy, so I pull up in that Maybach candy. Yeah, your boyfriend, I never understand me, cause I'm about to pull this girl like a hand. Let's take a little dip, little lady. Hit PCH from Eddie. Yeah, I've been thinking lately that I need someone to save me. Now that I'm famous, I got gold around me, but I need a good girl, I need someone to ground me. So please be true, don't shoot around with me. I need someone to share this heart with me. Feel you up and run it back again. Oh girl, I like you, I do. I wanna be a friend, go shopping in a Benz, I like you, I do. I hit you in a land, can you fit me in your plans? I like you, I do. We were better friends and we woke up in Japan, I like you, I do, I do.
Let me know when you're free, cause I've been trying to hit it out weak, babe. Why you acting all sweet? I know that you want it on me, yeah. Get a little OT, but ain't new to a freak. Let me drop bands for that jewel in your teeth. He let the way I drip, turn that pool to the beach. And I coulda caught the Birkin, but I caught the lead. Why we got the same taste for the finer things. Brand new with the same routine. Now we got me on a leash, cause we said no strings. You know I'm cool with that, so you ain't get sued for that. Wonder what I might do for that. I could be a shocker where roof is at. 80 in the Benz when that roof go back. They don't wanna see us get too okay. I just got a feeling that we might be friends for a long, long time. You don't mind, and you know I like you for that.
I like you, I do. I wanna be a friend, go shopping in a Benz, I like you, I do. I hit you in a land, can you fit me in your plans? I like you, I do. We went up better friends and we woke up in Japan, I like you, I do, I do. I just want you, I just want you. Your heart's so big, but that ass is huge. Just want you, oh baby, too. You like me too, girl, I like you, I do. I wanna be a friend, go shopping in a Benz, I like you, I do, I do.
Something's got a hold on me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore. Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa, out of my mind. How many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone? Yeah, it's taking a toll on me. Trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones. Don't you know I lose control when you're not next to me? I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're not next to me. Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me. Problematic. Problem is I want your body like I feel like a bad habit. Bad habits hard to break when I'm with you. Yeah, I know I can do it on my own, but I want that real full moon black magic, and it takes two. Problematic. Problem is when I'm with you, I'm an addict, and I need some relief. My skin ain't your teeth, can't see the forest through the trees. Got here with me. I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're not here with me. Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me.
Welcome back to Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. So, the WNBA, we're back. Oh my gosh. We got five storylines from the first week. Okay? So, every team played, and I was impressed with some. However, I wasn't impressed with all of them. Here's number one that I was hot and cold with, and I wish people will be honest with us. I wish Andre Carter, I wish Shanae Abumike, I wish LaChana Robinson, I wish Renee Montgomery are honest with us. I'm not trying to throw any negative shade at Caitlin. However, reality has to set in. So, the first game that she played last week against the Sun, they lost 92-71. Caitlin Clark had 20 points and 10 assists. She had 10 turnovers in 32 minutes. Okay? Against the Liberty, 9 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Went 2 for 8, 1 for 7. The Liberty shut her down. She had 30 minutes that game, but only had 3 turnovers. So, good. Now, 2 legitimate games that she's played. Against the Liberty, she had 22 points. They lost 91-80. Okay? 6 rebounds and 8 assists. 9 for 17, but she played 34 minutes. Okay? Last night, they played against the Sun on ESPN. 88-84, the Sun won. 17 points, 5 assists, a technical foul in 27 minutes, and also a sore ankle. So Caitlin, ankle will be sore tomorrow. Actually today, because they got another game tomorrow. Now, why aren't we celebrating why are we not celebrating the Fever more? We're always talking about one individual player. Of course, we're going to expect that. We're going to expect the future for Caitlin Clark. Why is everybody talking about Caitlin Clark instead of these other rookies? Cameron Brink, Rahir Jackson, Angel Reese. We're not talking about those players. We're talking about one player and Caitlin Clark. Everybody and their friends got to have an opinion about one particular player. One. We're not talking about Timi Fianga had 11 points and 10 rebounds off the bench. We're not talking about Nalissa Smith needs to come through. We're not talking about Aaliyah Boston who needs to finish the layup at the basket last night. We're not talking about Kelsey Mitchell who has 17 points. We're talking about Caitlin Clark. One player. One. Everybody has to care about that. Everybody. She doesn't run the team. The Fever were okay with Tamika Catchings and all of them. You didn't care about Tamika Catchings, but you care about Caitlin Clark. You didn't care about Kelsey Mitchell, you care about Caitlin Clark. You don't care about Aaliyah Boston is coaching Caitlin Clark. You only care about Caitlin Clark. Who cares about the coach? And by the way, let's play a clip from the coach, please. This is Coach Sides, worried about an ankle injury to Caitlin Clark. Let's play that clip, please.
Yeah, just when Caitlin went down with that ankle in the second quarter, were you worried at all it was going to be something bigger than what it was? Or?
Yeah, I was worried. A lot worried. You know, she is tough. She takes hits. I mean, you've seen the videos of her taking these hits on these screens, and then I'm not sure if she stepped on somebody's foot or came down. I haven't seen it, but when she didn't get up, I know it's serious, but she's tough. She's tough. She didn't want anybody to help her off the court. I love that about her. I love that's what she's about. She walked it off herself, did what she needed to do to come back in the game.
So, I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of making it about one player. Okay, fine. Let me be positive real quick. I care about Caitlin's injury. It's a minor injury. An ankle injury is very minor. She went out for 2 minutes. No biggie. If she had a high ankle sprain, a torn ACL, a torn Achilles, yes, I'll be concerned. But I wasn't concerned about this. All you gotta do, retape that ankle, tie your shoes. You're in the game. You're good. You're good. And now I criticize Coach Sides for playing Caitlin Clark too much. You got to remember something. Caitlin played in the national championship game. I think it was on April the 8th. Week later, she had to get ready for the draft. So that means you had to do a lot of interviews between that time and the draft, plus more interviews. And also, ESPN stopped the draft for 4 minutes to interview Caitlin Clark. This is getting too much. This is getting too much. And then the following week, you got to get ready for practice. The WNBA says you got to be ready to practice because because early May is your first game. They did a whole feature of Caitlin Clark in Dallas. I was upset at the Dallas win because I said, why are y'all doing a full game analysis on Caitlin Clark? We are the Dallas Wings. I've gone to other cities before. They have never done a full analysis on one player. Not one player. They don't listen. It's not like they don't care about the player. It's just this is Dallas. You're supposed to show your players, not the other team's players. One player. And we care about. I care about Caitlin Clark. However, the cover is too much. Why are we worried about her future? We already know she's going to have a bright future. And matter of fact, she just signed a big endorsement with Wilson, the basketball. Okay, great. Fine. Nike, great. Fine. Why is she getting all this versus Angel Reese gets nothing? Gets no press, nothing. The only press she'll get is the June 1st game against the Fever. That's on June the 1st on ESPN. That's an early morning game on ESPN on Saturday. And I'm like, why are y'all making these women play early on Saturday? Why are you making them play early on Saturday? Just move the game to middle of the day or at night. Why is it got to be in the middle of the day so that ESPN can show pickleball? They're notorious to show pickleball at this time right now. So you rather show that garbage versus, and well, pickleball's not garbage. You rather show that versus WNBA later in the day? Come on, man. What are we doing? But back to Caitlin Clark. It's getting too much. We already know her future is bright. We know this. We understand this. Why we got to focus on one thing on Caitlin? It's like Taylor Swift. Why are we worried about Taylor Swift? Why are we worried about who Taylor Swift dates? Why are we worried about Taylor and Travis Kelce? Why? What do we care? We don't care. Let them live their lives. Caitlin Clark, we care, but let her live her life. Let her get through the growing pains. It's like any other job. You got to get through the growing pains. When you're working your first job for the first time ever, yes, it's going to have growing pains, and maybe somebody in that job wants you to fail. Listen, the WNBA does not want you to fail. Colin Cowherd, you said that the WNBA should help her. Why don't I say, Sammy, can you help me with this podcast? She won't help me. She'll give me a guidance, but she will not help me build it. I got to build it myself. She'll give me the resources, but I got to take those resources and build it to something greater, which I'm doing right now. Not one organization or one person is going to help this person. You can have mentors, help you through life, but at the same time, it takes you to get out of the situation you're in right now. It's you. And the league does not need to care about who they're placing the opponents against. The league says you got to figure this out. The league told Coach Size, you got to figure this out with this team. You got a great team, but you can't put this team together. That's what the league said. The league done this job. Okay? We talked on the podcast, on the mini podcast last night. We talked about the schedule. We talked about the whole WNBA schedule. We talked about the schedule from why is everybody playing each other in multiple nights. They're going through a baseball format. It's COVID. The COVID did this. So COVID did this. So why is it that the Fever played the Sun and the Liberty twice? Because COVID did this. And the WNBA followed through with the baseball set of it. Baseball plays each other you can play the same point 3 to 4 times a night. The WNBA and the NBA and the NHL, they're doing it. They're following suit as well. And honestly, it's worked out. You got to make sure that Caitlin figured this out. She doesn't run that team. Let me say this again. Caitlin does not run the Fever. I feel like she's playing a lot, and that's why for the ankle injury. You can't play off of fan interest, which is the Coach Size is doing right now. You can't play off of fan interest. The fans are interested in Caitlin Clark. I get it, but don't you think that Caitlin wants to break at some point in this regular season? At some point, she's got to get that break. But we didn't talk about Timmy Fianja, who had 11 points and 10 rebounds and had a plus 10 on the court. We didn't talk about Boston missing that layup. Had a clear cut to the basket, made Clark the decoy, and I love the fact that the Sun were able to trap her. They were able to trap her and let someone else beat you. So Boston had a chance, missed the layup, and you lose the game. Coach Size she's a horrible coach, not addressing the X's and O's. You're worried about what the fans want versus what the team wants as well. The team wants to win. They want to win. They want to celebrate. They want to win. But you can't have it both ways. It's either you're going to have the fans' interest where you're not going to win any games. You're going to play Caitlin Clark 40 minutes a game, or you want to win games, and that means playing Caitlin off the ball and have Erica Wheeler or Kelsey Mitchell Erica Wheeler bring it up down the court. I don't suspect Caitlin to bring it up down the court because you're running more plays for her rather than Leah Boston and Nalissa Smith. Nalissa Smith is not getting touches anymore. And Nalissa Smith is an 18-point scorer again when she has touches. Aaliyah Boston can be that same player, and also Kelsey Mitchell too. Kelsey Mitchell had her moment for like 5 minutes last night. Timmy Fianja had her moment for 3 minutes last night. Caitlin Clark had her minutes for a whole entire broadcast. So for the entire 8 minutes, you only talked about 3 players. But Caitlin Clark gets a whole 2-hour broadcast. Oh, they showed the ankle injury numerous times. They showed her getting stripped. They showed her getting a technical foul, which is normal. It's normal. When you talk about the official, you're going to get a technical foul. How is it that she's getting more coverage than the other players on the Fever? And that's not even their best bet, their best effort. They got a complete roster. I read through their whole entire roster. They got a complete roster. So for ESPN and for the Fever say, y'all need to stop this crap. Primary video, everybody else need to stop. Let Caitlin be. Let her go through the growing pains. Let her get stripped. Let her be upset. It's getting too much. I'm getting sick of it. But this is the best game for the Fever up to date because they've been blowing out in the first 3 games. Now, the next games in the Fever, if we want to talk about it, okay, Wednesday. It doesn't give enough time for Caitlin and other players to recover. So they play Wednesday against Seattle, in Seattle, on Prime Video. Oh, that's not Prime Video. That's League Pass, sorry. That's League Pass. So we'll watch that on the internet. Friday, they're on Ion against the Sparks. Okay? So fine. they're on Ion. Okay. Sunday, that's Saturday. Sorry, Saturday they got back-to-back. They got back-to-back against the Aces. So they're at Aces on NBA TV on Saturday night. Okay. And then next Tuesday, they got the Sparks again on NBA TV. That is a home game for the Fever. And also the Seattle Seahawks, the Seattle Storm on Prime Video next Thursday. So with that being said, you got chances, Caitlin. You got chances, Leah Boston. You got chances, Fever, to get your first win. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't know. Maybe against the Sparks. Maybe you beat them twice. I don't know. But it's not looking good right now. You're saying it for one player. What about the team itself? Caitlin, like I said, Caitlin does not want to run the team. Christy Size needs to stop. Christy Size does not care about her job anymore. If you're worried about the fans' interest, you yourself are putting your job at risk. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. But you want to put your job at risk, fine. I don't want people to get fired, but you put your job at risk, fine. Whatever works for you. And I told you, ESPN needs to stop this madness. Everybody needs to stop. Everybody. From ESPN to Prime Video to Ion, they need to stop. Or else you're going to run this woman to the ground. Number 2, Dallas Wings. They're struggling in player movement. So Enrique had played 40 minutes against the Sky, scored 35 points on 28 shots. And I'm like, wow. She went 9 for 28. I'm like, wow. We're missing Natasha Howard for 36 weeks with a foot injury. We signed Monique Billingsley. We also I want to ask a question. How are we going to get Sergey Uze managed the game? How are we going to get her to manage the game? And what's going to happen this week? Because this week you have the Dream tonight at the Dream. You have the Mercury on Saturday. You also have the Sparks next Sunday. And then you have the Sun Friday. So you have a 5-day break in between games. You have the Sun next Friday. And then Minnesota on June the 2nd, that Sunday. So 5 games on the road. I want to see what type of shots Enrique is going to take tonight. And then that will tell me what type of team this Wings is. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be tough tonight. It's going to be tough tonight. It's going to be tough this week because you got off days in between. So that gives you time to know your teammates, know what will work. Number 3, the Ace is a $100 million check to every player. So as you heard, the Aces the Aces are on the investigation for accepting $100 million from a sponsorship that wants to sponsor them. So I read the story. I was very upset as the WNBA because the WNBA does not provide you anything. Listen, Asia Wilson is in a commercial right now, along with Sue Bird and Sabrina Ionescu. I can't remember that commercial is. I can't remember it. It's some car commercial. She's in that commercial. Okay? Asia does not need anything. Asia does not need $100 million. It's an incentive, but she does not need $100 million. Asia can make that in her sleep. And I thought she signed more than that. She has a shoe coming out next year, which I'm going to buy. She has everything. She has a book coming out. I mean, come on now. $100K? That's great. You give that to the rookies. The rookies, even though I saw what Kate Martin is making, $67,000. That's her salary. And I'm like, well, I wish I was making that salary because I would want to go out there and play basketball as well. I want to go do all the things. I want to go to the store every single day and get relief on my body. I want to go and get my knee checked and everything. I want to do everything possible. I want to be a dog in the weight room, in the basketball court. Was that amount of money, weekly pay, getting that? I want to do all the things, and it's coming to me soon. But anyways, why is it that the WNBA is looking into this? I don't know. The WNBA does not want you to grow. They don't want you. They don't care about the growth of the league. When the commissioner goes on TV and lies to you and says and that blatantly laugh, that blatantly smile, that says, "Oh yeah, we care about the league. We care about the players." You don't care about the players. You don't care about the league. You care about you. What's best for you and your associates will work for everybody else, even though everybody doesn't agree. The reason why they're under investigation because no team gets that. The Aces have been winning for years. They have a winning product. Of course, every sponsorship deal is going to approach them with utmost immunity, utmost gratitude. That's what this sponsor did. Caitlin's getting all the sponsors in the world. She's doing that on her own. Everybody else, Adrian Wilson has a shoe out. She's doing that on her own. She don't need $100 million. It's changed. It's chump change to her. It's chump change to Caitlin Clark as well. We need more of that. If you're gonna be jealous of a team getting $100 million from a sponsor, then why don't you step up your game and sponsor the players itself? Why don't you be in that room and make it manageable for players to play basketball? Instead of them going overseas or playing in some athletic league and wearing their bodies out, even though Athletes Unlimited, even though you get paid consecutively, and it helps your game as well. So if we're trying to grow the league, don't waste your time investigating on a team that's been winning for years. In fact, put your energy on elevating the league, on adding more teams to every city, every market. Because you know why? Every market needs a team. Every state needs a WNBA team. We want to go to teams we want to play. I want to see different teams every single night. I want to see what these teams can do. It's like the NBA. You never know who's going to come out you never know. Portland, as weak as Portland has been, they can beat the Mavericks in one night. I want to see that type of matchup. But we'll never see that in the WNBA because the WNBA does not care about improving their league. They may lie to you and say, the WNBA is improving at 28 years old. Nah, it's not. Was this investigation? It's not. I think we have taken a 28-year step back. This is why you have jealousy in the league. This is why players like Cheryl Swoops, who recently came back. This is why Cynthia Cooper is not there. This is why Lisa Leslie is not there. You got to pay these players the utmost respect. The older ones as well, to pay them to come back to talk about the WNBA. So this investigation is useless, and I hope it clears up soon. And matter of fact, right now, to my next point, which number 4, you can't win a game with 20 turnovers. So the Minnesota Lynx had 27 turnovers, and they were dancing all over the court. Cheryl Reeves was not dancing all over the court. You got to know that stat. You got to know that 27 turnovers will not win all games. The Storm had 24 turnovers as well. You cannot win games with 20-plus turnovers. You got lucky because one team had to be tired, which was the Storm in the second overtime. They were tired. And they don't know each other yet. So if people are looking for a super team, yeah, that's your super team in the Storm. However, they don't know each other yet. It'll take time. Like Nicole Quinn said, it'll take time. And so there's a lot of improvement. Nikhil Mool, I saw a comment this morning. I said Skylar Diggins is washed. I'm like, why is Skylar Diggins washed? Skylar Diggins is great. Skylar Diggins, 2 children. You talk about maternal, getting a birth for a second child. That was like either last year or the year before. Then go and do that drama in Phoenix and Dallas, and then having to go to Seattle and play all these games. She was tired in the preseason game, but she's not tired now. It takes time. She was getting up to basketball shape. It takes time, but Skylar Diggins is not washed up. What washed up is that person who made that comment on YouTube is washed up. You know what else the WNBA can improve on? International play. Because Nika Mule, okay, Croatia player, if I'm saying that right, from Croatia, sits out the first 4 games, but got word as of last night that she's going to play Wednesday night. So to me, the WNBA needs to do a little bit better with their international players. Because you got players coming from overseas, you know, you got to get their passport. I don't know what the process is, but their process is slower than any other players. The NHL, how is it that they can get that they're full international? They can get players from Russia, Slovenia, whatever, whoever. They get them right away. The NBA does the same thing. Jokic from Serbia, Doncic from Slovenia. You got all these other players internationally coming from countries going to the NBA. They can get their visa situated out more quicker than the WNBA can. Even the MLB. They do it early. The WNBA wants to wait till training camp to fix Nika Mule's situation. Nika Mule should have never gone through that. You know, this is why the league is taking 28-year step back, because you're investigating on a team that won back-to-back championships, could win another one, but also Nika Mule, who's been in the States ever since she got to UConn, and now she's having visa issues, and now she gets to play tomorrow night. Like, this is stupid. This is high school stuff, and this is a league. You are not in high school. This is high school bull crap. You are a league. You are an organization. Who works for you? Whoever works on the international side should be fired immediately. You are in charge to get these players accustomed to U.S. soil right away. How does Victor go from France to San Antonio right away? Actually, he started in New York. Then he goes to San Antonio. He got that situation situated. The NBA did that. So the WNBA needs to step up. They need to stop screwing around and fix their product. And stop limiting the players' incentive. If they want to get $100 million, $500 million from these sponsors, let them get the money whether they win or not. Let them get their money. Caitlin Clark is signing contracts left and right. You're not going to investigate that? Maybe because of, actually, it's because of racial issue. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Caitlin Clark gets that. No one else is getting it. Angel Reese doesn't get this. Rickea Jackson does not get this. Rickea Jackson and Angel Reese have to work 10 times harder and 10 times a little better to get the same amount of coverage that Caitlin Clark gets. How's Cameron Brink doesn't get that coverage? Cameron Brink got 2 hours. Both of those players got 2 hours. Andrew Reese has not got a sit. And now you're asking her to come on TV on June the 1st on ESPN. That is bullshit. And I'm not happy with that. But I'm going to move on. Now, number 5, my last and my final things. Let's do the games of the week and the players to watch. Mercury versus Aces. Tonight, that's tonight. They played each other last week. And it was a blowout. It was a close game. The Mercury have got a little bit better. I like the fact that the Mercury, I like how their offense is spread out. I like that. So that's my game. Thursday, I got the Link versus the Sun. I got Sky versus Liberty on Thursday as well. That's Prime Video. CBS on Saturday afternoon, you got the Liberty versus the Link. That's a good matchup right there. You got the Sun versus the Sky on CBS Sports Network. That's a Saturday night game. And you got the Wing versus the Mercury. So League Pass is showing the Wing versus the Mercury. If you live in Dallas, you won't see that. That's BS because it's on Bally. But also, Angel Reese gets to be on CBS and Prime Video. I'm like, wow. We got to watch Angel Reese on the internet? That's a joke. Link versus Dream. That's on Sunday. And we got to watch that on League Pass. So we got to watch Alexis Peely on League Pass. Even though Alexis Peely is in a difficult situation right now because they're asking her to play post defense, she's never done that in college. Not to my knowledge. But you're asking her to play post defense. Okay, great. Kalia Copper is the player you need to watch. She's the Mercury. She's averaging 29 points a game. Brianna Stewart, 21 points a game. She's actually, her team is 4-0. And actually, you need to watch out for that team too. The Liberty are slowly but surely figuring it out. Nafisa Caller, 25 points a game for 10 rebounds for the Link. Okay, this Link, they don't have Jessica Shepard, which is my favorite player, on the Link. Well, actually, Nafisa Caller is, but Jessica is my second one. So, I think the Link are going to keep this energy up. Once they groom Alexis Peely, I think this Link team, they're going to be the quietest team in the league. Alyssa Thomas, 13 points a game. Triple-double machine every single night. How come she does not get much talk? They were talking about more Caitlin Clark versus Alyssa Thomas last night, and I did not like that coverage as well. This is why I got upset. Angel Reese, 11 points a game. Angel Reese, give her time. She's with the right coach. They're going to continue to fight. And the way Teresa Weatherspoon has said these things, it makes me want to put on a WNBA jersey and go after it and be the second fiddle to Angel Reese. And actually, by the way, Camila Cardoso is playing on June the 1st. That's a joke to me. That's clickbait. I think that's clickbait because you can't tell me that 3 weeks ago she's going to be out for 6 weeks. But now she's coming back early, June the 1st. I'll let y'all have that. And then also, last but not least, Ryan Howard. Now, the Dream have really surprised me this game. They really surprised me because I thought the Dream, well, again, you got to give it time because I thought the Dream will be no win. They have a 1 win right now, but I thought they'll be 0 for 2 right now. But right now, they look good. They look good on offense. Ryan Howard is averaging 23 points a game. I didn't question Ryan Howard one bit. I questioned the coaching staff and their decision making. I don't think their decision making benefit the franchise. So if you want to have a franchise in Atlanta, to have a winning product, you gotta be able to know what you need, and you gotta be able to hit on what you need, so that you don't go backwards. I had the Dream going past the Sun and the Liberty this upcoming season, but again, it's early. I want to see what happens this week. I want to see what happens towards the end of the month, and we'll go from there. Now, that's my WNBA takes in for this show. Now, next week, we're going to recap the first 3 games of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals and give you a little preview of Game 4. And also, it'll be a 100 episode, so we're going to talk about the WNBA, more WNBA stuff, and we're going to dive into the Dallas Cowboys schedule, my record, my prediction, because it's that time. And let's see if the Cowboys have learned anything from the draft, OTAs, rookie minicamp, and let's dive into the schedule. But we're going to talk about that next week on our 100th episode. All right, guys. Thank you for listening and watching the Beyond the Game podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like wherever you find your podcasts at. And I will see y'all next week. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.
Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genthy Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genthy Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
Hey, this is AJ Mason, host of The Deliverance Hour, broadcasting live each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear all things deliverance, from demonology to everyday bad habits. We're discussing and dissecting all of it, and you can join. So be sure to log on each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to catch The Deliverance Hour. It's gonna be good.
On Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
Podcasters, the name of the game is to get more visibility for your podcast so you can gain more credibility with your audience, thus more profitability. If you're ready to start syndicating your podcast and massively grow your audience and influence, then contact Fishbowl Radio Network today at 817-633-4880. Fishbowl Radio Network is one of the largest streaming platforms in the world. And now your podcast can be heard all over the world by the listening audience that Fishbowl Radio Network has amassed over the last 11 years. With over 6 million impressions a month and growing, this is a platform that all podcasters should be on to create greater visibility for their podcast. Jump in today and be a part of the Fishbowl family, streaming great live internet radio shows and podcasts 24/7. 817-633-4880. Jump in.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Fishbowl